is game time. It is the weekend of the Super Bowl. It is the Sun City Leatherheads podcast coming to you hot. The week of the big dance coming up, Danny. Oh my God, we started this podcast pretty much. It almost seems like we just started this thing, and now we're at the Super Bowl. So damn, time flies. And of course, we circumstances we weren't able to do last week, but I mean, no one cares about the Pro Bowl these days except for the players because they have fun and stuff. But no, I don't watch flag football. Like I said over and over, especially with NFL players. If it was like a pro league of flag football, then maybe, or like the Olympics, then maybe. But I'm not gonna watch a Patrick Mahomes getting a flag just because he's gonna throw a flag. You know what I'm saying? So like, whatever.
Yeah,
But this Super Bowl weekend, Danny, how we doing?
doing good, Jay. I can't believe we're already here. Can't believe this is the last game of the
Dude.
season, and I can't
Oh,
believe that it's gonna be two teams that we're not fans of, right? The Chiefs and the Eagles. But it is what it is. So I'm excited we get to see the Super Bowl either way.
Danny, I've been telling people. I guess I'm sure I said mentioned it last podcast. I mentioned it to you and Gabe and other people that I've talked to. I was like, this was one of the most embarrassing years of Jerry Jones' life. And it couldn't come in a better fashionable thing and way because, I like to say better late than never, right? Like that's the good old saying, better late than never. And then Stephen Jones is coming out in interviews saying like, maybe we should look upon free agency and, things that we haven't done necessarily beforehand, blah, blah, blah. We're really going to try to concept things. And I told you that I want at least a super coach or, someone that's building foundation. Schottenheimer wasn't the prettiest head coach pick, but we get Matt Eberflus, who's technically a super coach for defensive coordinating. He's already had head coach experience now with the Bears, but he's a hell of a defensive coordinator, and so I'm excited about that. The interior staff that they're building, the new offensive coordinator is an O lineman, which is going to be a bruiser. He's going to go back to I want people to punch people in the jaw type formation, I form, play action, roll out, which is what's Dak's best at. And I don't know why McCarthy went away from that because it helps Dak tremendously when he's not the first one to get hit, right? So it's awesome to see where they're going with this. They even hey, I love the Oregon Ducks. I've been preaching their name, and even the running backs that have been drafted lately. We go out and I think we got the running backs coach from Oregon who has produced people like Bucky Irving, who just was a hella juggernaut for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this year. And then going forward, I think he's going to help that running back group, whether it being older and new or just all new and fresh. So I'm quietly excited. I said that we should give Schottenheimer at least a year and a half, right? Like it's going to take him at least a year and a half to truly build what he envisions as in personnel, players, and all that jazz. So I'm excited. And coaching news, obviously we're waiting for the New Orleans Saints. They're going to be the
Hold
last
on, Jay.
one to.
Before we move on, I wanted to ask you, for those people that don't follow the Cowboys, what can you tell us about Brian Schottenheimer? Where did he come from, or was he already a coach with the Cowboys, or where is he coming from?
Well, he was the offensive coordinator back to back years, and actually, the year that he had more reins on the offense, which was the 2023 season, that's when we had the highest points per game value, and we had the number one offense in the league. So maybe him not butting heads with Mike McCarthy and other people right now. Maybe it's just going to be his vision, and then people would just go with it. So maybe that benefits the Cowboys, right, and their offense because Dak, like I said, is more like a Jalen Hurts type individual where things have to go great. People always say that Jalen Hurts, unless he's doing the tush push, he's very inconsistent, right? So,
Yeah.
and I kind of feel that with Dak. Sometimes he doesn't read the defense really well, and then if he's the first one to get hit, like I just previously said, it's all downhill from there. So, I think that his vision is very strong, and I think Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones having him in that building and hearing him say things the last several years may have definitely been a catalyst to why they just like interviewed other people, but at the same time, they already kind of wanted the same guy, right? So it's literally out with the old, in with the new, with the same concept or mind frame. So we bring a few people back that we know, and then other people are like 100% different, which I think a fresh start for everything, especially Dallas. Dallas had a massive injury season, so it's not necessarily like it was all on Mark McCarthy and stuff. But a fresh start, which is something that Jerry Jones usually takes so long to do, right? Like it's like he usually waits like years to make this transition, and it's finally that he was like, you know what? Well, we went to the playoffs. That's awesome, but we still never made the conference championship at least. So they move on, and then they figure out things with Schottenheimer. He's been an assistant coach, quarterback coach, offensive coordinator at several places. Seattle, I believe Washington, San Diego when the Chargers were in San Diego. That was with his father also. His bloodline goes way back to Marty Schottenheimer, and I've always been a huge fan of Marty Schottenheimer back in the day. He's just one of those coaches, as just like players, right? They're so good. It's just that luck at times were just not on their side. Like he had an amazing San Diego Chargers team that went like 15-1 or something that season, and of course they got bounced out by the Tom Brady and the Patriots that ended up winning the Super Bowl that year. But I mean, he had some great coaching ability and teams, and he actually had Denver Broncos with a young Schottenheimer, even when he was the kid growing up with John Elway at his early stages. No, my apologies. Flip it. He was in Cleveland, and John Elway was the only reason why the Cleveland Browns didn't make it to the Super Bowl because the drive. If people don't understand or don't know about it, look up the drive. John Elway drives like I think it's what 92 yards to win the game, and just kills the Cleveland Browns. And then I think the year before, one of the Cleveland Browns, the Schottenheimer coach team, the running back fumbles, so then they don't make it to the championship game again. So it was just the coaching schemes was there. It's just luck and people didn't show up for him. So
Yep.
I think the DNA plus what if Jerry and Steven actually get it through their skull that maybe we should bring some foundational pieces to help this regime. I mean, like you're looking at Miles Garrett, Danny, who wants to trade request, and he wanted to be drafted by the Cowboys already. So I'm like, give whatever you can to get him at this point. I've always loved a proven veteran than a rookie that I can rebuild later on because if I want to win now, which Dallas definitely wants to win now for 30 years, like why not go, give up a few round picks and whatnot to go get him. DeMarcus Lawrence,
Yeah.
I love him. He's older. He may be gone in free agency. Osi Odugazawa is our primary person to try to keep, so you put Miles Garrett, O.C. Odugazawa, and Micah Parsons on that front line. Can you imagine? That would be very scary to a lot of teams. So
Yeah.
yeah, Dallas, like it's time. Go ahead.
That'd be a difference maker, for sure. In that division against now Jaden Daniels going up against Jalen Hurts. Not to mention you got to stop the run in Saquon Barkley. Like yeah, that would be an ideal move and one that makes sense
Right,
because the offense is already in place. You already know what you're getting from the Cowboys offense. Now it's just shore up
right,
the defense and you have a playoff team right there.
right. And plus, our schedule is harder. And I think I talked about it the last time we talked, but I've told several people this the Eagles make it to the Super Bowl helps Dallas tremendously because one it's hard to get back if you win it, and it's even harder to get back if you lose it. And then your offensive coordinator in Philadelphia is probably going to be one and done, and he's going to be the head coach of the New Orleans Saints. And then you go back to the Washington Commanders, Danny. They're the Detroit Lions of last year. Like they were the darling, they were the surprise team that just blew everybody out of the water, especially in the playoffs. Then of course they don't come up on the championship game because the rookie quarterback has never made it to the Super Bowl, and I don't think it ever happened. So if he couldn't do it, there's no way in hell anybody else could do it because Jaden Daniels had one of the best playoff runs in existence.
He had
to
the best
start his
playoff, rookie
yeah, to
playoff
start his career.
performance.
Yeah, absolutely. So it like all this helps Dallas because one, Washington's gonna get punched in the jaw next year because no one's gonna expect them or unexpect them. And then Philly's gonna, take a slump regardless because they just made it to the Super Bowl. And the last time I checked, everyone's like, dude, we play the AFC West next year, we play the NFC North next year. Well, so does Washington, and so does Philadelphia, and we already know the Giants are trash. So like this benefits Dallas tremendously, especially if they go get the core pieces in free agency like they should. It will definitely catapult them in the division at least.
I love your optimism, but I don't know, man. You say like the Eagles, it's tough to go back, right? Because I mean, once any team loses in the Super Bowl, they kind of regress or don't do so well the next couple of years. But they've shown us that if they could lose the Super Bowl and be right back, I mean, look at them. They lost to the Chiefs a few years ago and they're back. So I mean, that's a good sign. Plus, they're
Okay,
young.
Danny,
Their defense is
let me
is
ask you this. Let me ask you
ask me.
this. This universe is unemployed in free agency of 2024. Shane doesn't do the idiotic thing and doesn't release Shaquan Barkley. Does Philadelphia make it to the Super Bowl this year without him?
No, no, and I've told you that before.
Point, point. Okay, well, point proven. So either way, it's gonna hurt them or bless them. Like I'm hoping that they tear down their city again and win the championship, just so like it could be over and done with, and then
Well,
that'll be it.
to counter that argument, right? So yes, Saquon is the main reason why they're in the Super Bowl, right? Hands down, you can't deny that.
Right,
And he's probably gonna regress and not have the same type of year that he had this year. I
right.
can safely say that. But then, as he brought everybody up, their defense was lacking. I told you this to start the year that was their weakness in the secondary, and it seems like towards the end of the year they started to figure it out. They started to get consistent pass rush. Their defense started, showing up in the secondary. So that's a good thing for them. To what?
Two first round talents that were cornerbacks fell into their lap, Danny, because someone else decided to pass on Cooper DeJean. Isn't that crazy?
That's
So like
that's
they were
nothing
just
close to
smart
that.
as hell. Yeah, and like they were smart. And like granted, I give them all the praise in the world because they're not Jerry Jones. But let's not forget, Danny, we're talking about optimism. We're talking about Schottenheimer. Is he the guy? How many times, even including the beginning of this season, has Nick Sirianni been on the hot seat and people want him gone?
Yeah,
And he's
his
been in
his
the Super
runs.
Bowl 2 years out of three, Danny.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
people want
he's
him
crazy to
gone.
think that.
So
That's the craziness of Philly fans. I mean, they have a short leash on anyone, right? Even Andy Reid, when he was the head coach, I think they didn't love him too much at times. And now I bet you they wish they had him back. But going back to the Cowboys, because I did want to bring this up. I watched a portion of the press conference where they announced Brian Schottenheimer, and I thought he did a really good job in kind of explaining his vision for his team. Um,
right,
I was left impressed. The person I wasn't left impressed with was Jerry Jones. Like, dude, you just hired this guy, and then it's like you're trying to justify the reason for hiring him, but then you say it's a big risk. So like you're not giving him a vote of confidence at all, and he already has to have an uphill climb in order for him to please everybody in Dallas, right? It's not the flashy name, it's not the flashy hiring, but I think it may work because, like you said, there's it's consistency there. He knows the type of offense that he wants, and at the same time, I think the Cowboys have been so used to running Mike McCarthy's defense that it's now going to be a breath of fresh air, right? Where now Brian Schottenheimer can bring his own type of play calls. Maybe he might elevate Dak Prescott a little bit more than Mike McCarthy could. So it's good. I just didn't like the fact that Jerry Jones was there, just pretty much explaining the reason why it's a big risk and how it's not the most popular hiring, but he's going with his gut. and then plus the bloodlines that he's coming from, right, makes the most sense, I guess, for him to hire Schottenheimer. But yeah, it just I was very impressed with Brian Schottenheimer. I wasn't impressed with Jerry Jones.
Two things that I want to bring up. Dang it! What again?
Uh,
Uh,
all right, keep going. I can
at
hear you.
least at least we have some. At least we have someone that's like chiming in. That's good. We got
Thanks, Dale.
someone listening and trying to. But Danny, 2 points that I want to make with your thing, right? I guess the biggest one. No, no, I'll go second first. Second one. Would you rather have Jerry Jones say, it's a big risk, guys. I get it. Like we're gonna try what we can do, and see, try to go together on this, or would you rather him say, "All right, guys, we're gonna go all in," and then they debacle? I'd rather him be skittish at this point than say that we're gonna go win a Super Bowl because we're the Dallas Cowboys and everyone expects us to win the damn Super Bowl. And two, coaching staffs, Danny, look at all the head coaches who never had head coaching experience, and then they went out and even making it to the conference championship, right? Even making it to the Super Bowl, those were the risks itself. It's like Dick Vermeil coming from UCLA to coach the Philadelphia Eagles, who were trash in the '70s and '80s, and then he takes them to the Super Bowl. You look at you look at Jerry Jones in his early days when he actually was all in. He fires the most prestige, glamour-fighted head coach of all time while he's golfing, just to make a point that we're going to go in a different direction. You know what I mean? Like he fires Tom Landry, and everyone's like, "What the? What are you doing?" And then Jimmy Johnson comes in and just builds a juggernaut of a team. And then of course Jerry's stupid ego. That's when his brain like kind of the wheels kind of like oiled itself and then just like burned out in Jerry's brain. But like maybe this is. I mean, I'd have to be optimistic. It's a turning point just because he did something that the fans didn't want. Because back then it was like, well, we're gonna keep this continuity because Garrett's my son-in-law and I love everybody and blah blah blah. So we're like pissed about that. Then we get Mike McCarthy because everyone's like, well, he's a proven coach. Like, let's go get him. Like, we don't have anybody else, and he wants to be here. Blah blah blah. And he's like studied the offenses again. Blah blah blah. So like, he did something that finally was a stretch, and we hated. I don't mind that because if people hate on someone who's been in the Super Bowl 2 out of 3 years and Nick Sirianni just because of his face and he's the coach of the Eagles, then I don't mind us taking a stretch of someone that could be likable and still go and do the same thing.
Yeah, I just wish that Jerry Jones wouldn't be involved in a press conference. I granted he is a part of the making that decision, right? But at the same time, just let the coach have his time, right? If he's being introduced to the media, to the fan base, let him have his time. You going and trying to justify the reason for why you hired him and why your decision's always good, right? I don't even know what he was trying to even convey to the audience. Like he took like 12 minutes trying to answer a question, trying to justify his
He's
answer, but then at the
he's
same time he's
old.
bashing him.
He's old. You know what, Danny? Schottenheimer I think did way better in the conference of the introduction than Mike McCarthy did.
Oh
Mike
yeah,
McCarthy
Mike
was
McCarthy
like
was a
ho ho
joke.
ho 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 ho, and then he would
I
look at Jerry
lied.
like yeah ho 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 ho. Like kind of like hyping up Jerry. Schottenheimer was just stone faced. Like this is. I'm glad these players came to support me. We're gonna get shit done. And then Jerry started talking. What did Schottenheimer do? He didn't even look to his left. He just kept staring. Next question. Okay, let's go. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like that's what we need. Like he can
yeah.
block out Jerry, then that's perfect.
That's what he has to do, especially in his position now with the Cowboys. But Dale, let me know if my voice is okay. I raised up my volume, but I don't know if it sounds good on your end. But yeah, no, I guess we've been talking about the Cowboys for almost 20 minutes, but I think to your point, it is a good change for the Cowboys, even though it's not the most popular choice. I think everybody was wanting with a big name like Mike Vrabel or whoever was available, right? But I
Right.
mean, Jerry Jones decided to play around and start the process a little bit later than everybody else, so that affected him. But I think having that continuity with Brian Schottenheimer is gonna be good. I'm not worried about the Cowboys dropping off or anything like that. I think they're gonna be consistent. They're still gonna be at the top of the East competing, and I don't see any difference there. It's just now what they need to do is focus on that roster. Now they need to
Right.
figure out who their running back's gonna be, right? And then how are they gonna get other defensive playmakers around Coach Eberflus because Eberflus is going to coach him good. I mean, he's a good
Right.
coordinator. He's just not a good head coach.
Right. And going back to your statement about the running backs, all of our running backs are free agents. Like we have no running back on the damn roster right now. So that's
So now
wild.
you have to.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. Like, do we still have Cook like as like a practice squad guy? Like, cause I mean, I would take him even if he's like at 75% Cook, just to chime in with him with younger running backs, right? But like,
Yeah.
I mean, does he go? Does he get to go be free agent again? Like, I don't. That's what I don't get because like we just kept him on the shelf the whole time, and that's another thing why I didn't like about Mike McCarthy. That's why we didn't go I form or nothing because he knew that he wasn't going to use the running backs the way he should have until later
Yeah.
on when Dak got hurt. Then he went to a power running game, and look what happened. We won several games. We looked way better, and then Dowdle ended up being the first undrafted running back for the Cowboys since like the 70s or 80s that ran for 1,000 yards.
Crazy.
So yeah, like I don't know. Mike McCarthy was off his tree for sure this year. Like I don't. He was. I think it really got to his head. I think Jerry got to him, and it just collapsed from there. But yeah, I'm excited. So Danny, speaking of like free agents and where we're gonna go, where people are gonna go, Cooper Cup is apparently massively on the trade block by the Los
Mm-hmm.
Angeles Rams, and they apparently want to trade him immediately before the calendar new year, just so they can like I guess know what they get from or whatever. Where do you see him going, or how do you feel about the whole thing?
I was shocked, honestly, but if you look at his price tag, it makes sense. They owe him a lot of money, and I think if, since they're trying to kind of rebuild that roster, they're going younger. It makes sense. He's past 30 now. But when he's healthy, man, he's one of the best receivers in the league. So you can't
Right.
beat his route running ability. And I honestly think that he deserves to go to a place that's already going to be like a perennial playoff team. Um, like I think you and I were talking off air, but like you know, I could see him going to the Chiefs. I can see him going somewhere like that where he's you know, gonna be a slot receiver, kind of
If he
dissecting
goes to the
defenses.
Chiefs, bro, like I give up on NFL completely.
Well, look at them. Look at them right now. Look at them right now. They have DeAndre Hopkins, right? They have Juju Smith Schuster. So like they always pick
Hollywood
up those
Brown.
Hollywood Brown. Yeah, they pick up those veteran receivers and they know how to use them and expose them, right, and get the best out of their ability. I could also see him
Right.
going to a place like the Bills. I think the Bills didn't really have a number one receiver this year. And Keon Coleman kind of showed flashes at times, so perhaps he goes there, right? I don't think Cooper's gonna stick around in Buffalo, so maybe he might want to play with Josh Allen. I think that makes sense too. You look at the NFC.
Right.
I mean, the NFC, he can go. Imagine he goes to the 49ers. Like, that would make
Oh
sense
my
there, too.
god. And that's division rival. Like, oh man, well, man, Los Angeles would be crazy if they trade him there. But we talked about it offline too. I say either Denver or Dallas. And I'm not saying that because I'm a Cowboys fan. I'm just saying that Cooks is probably gone. We need another veteran that can help Lamb like show these young stud wide receivers up and coming like how it's done. And Cooper Cup is a pro of a pro. Like whether
Yeah.
he's healthy or not healthy, Danny, he's a leader of men and he shows up. Like that's what I love. Like I'm injured, but I'm going to show up to team meetings. I'm going to help these young guys be where we need them to be. Like that's what I love about Cooper Cup. Look at Puka. Like that last year when he was a rookie, Cooper Cup was hurt for half the damn year, or more than half the damn year, and Puka started shining. But Cooper is like, look, man, like you're my wing. Like I need you. You're my understudy. Like I can't be great if you're not great. So like like let's go. And I love that part. And then Denver, a young quarterback who showed amazing flashes this year, who made the playoffs just like Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, Sean Payton loves receivers that are very durable and consistent. Granted, Cooper Cup has a few injuries, but like, look, remember how he used Taysom Hill in New Orleans, like a Cooper
Yeah.
Cup in a slot or a swing pass, or like because Cooper Cup can throw too, so they could use him as a swing pass pitch option pass. So like, there's a lot of fun I think Denver would have with him. It's putting him with Cortland Sutton, like that'd be pretty good.
I love that destination. Actually, thinking about it, because Cortland Sutton's not gonna be producing or asking for a lot of money, right? I mean, he does deserve what he's gonna get. But in terms
Speaking
of,
of Puka, speaking of Puka,
can you hear? Made an appearance
Puka's
there.
out, everybody.
But you're not gonna break the bank with Cortland Sutton. You're not gonna break the bank now with Cooper Cup, right? He's in his at the back end of
Right.
his career. I don't think he's gonna be wanting that much money. So I think it makes sense for him to be going to a place like that where he's cost effective to a team. And
Right. Yeah. Because Cortland Sutton is one of the most underrated, underappreciated wide receivers in the game. Like, there's no question. So you put him,
definitely,
Cup, and then Troy Franklin in the slot. Good. That would be great. Like that would.
you know,
Oof.
Cooper Cup can be your slot receiver, and Troy Franklin can develop into that X or the
Well,
Y,
and,
right?
well, and that's what I'm saying. Like he helps develop young receivers too. So imagine him helping Troy Franklin be exactly what they thought he'd be. So like
Yeah.
that would be great flash. And
And Troy
speaking of another
Franklin,
person, Danny. Oh, go ahead.
he
Go ahead.
started to figure it out at the end of the season, right? We were kind of
Yes.
like wondering where he was, but then he showed flashes at the end and in the playoffs too.
Right. Right. So going back to another person, Miles Garrett from the Cleveland Browns says, I want to turn this frown upside down, and I don't want to be a Brown." And then so let's see where he goes, Danny. Obviously, like as a Cowboys fan and a dream, he wanted to be drafted by Dallas. He still loves the Cowboys. Demarcus Lawrence is probably going to leave for probably the Commanders to go hang out with Dan Quinn. He's getting up, like you said. Cooper Cup's not going to ask for so much money because he's getting older. Same thing with Lawrence, but he's probably going to be gone. And why not go and give a few draft picks up or whatever you need to if you're Dallas to put him with Parsons and OC Adigazawa because that's your primary target to keep in free agency. So put those three together and then maybe you draft someone or get someone like, I mean, Dallas, like if Martin retires, right? Like Zach Martin's an unrestricted free agent, but he's thinking about retirement. That's what, 20 million off your cap? So there's that. Demarcus Lawrence is another like 15 to 20 million off your cap. Like they have chances to get a few good pieces that are younger and maybe more hungry than let's say people that are contemplating retirement or don't know what they want. So Dallas has possibilities to try to like get people.
He likes the Cowboys too, right? He played at Texas A&M. That makes sense.
Right. And he want so like I remember exactly, obviously you know how much I love Tony Romo. And what he said before the draft, I was like, as much as it hurt me, it made sense at the time because he came out the year after Dak Prescott was rookie year, so it was going to be Dak's second year. Dallas already had that amazing run in the playoffs. You know what I mean? They lost to Green Bay, but they had that one seed. They were looking good and fresh. And Garrett said, "Jerry, please, for the love of whatever, trade Tony Romo and whatever draft pick you have to Cleveland so I can be your number one pick." And I was like, "Oh, don't tell me that." Even though I knew that they were going to go away from Romo, I was like, "Dude, imagine like that makes sense from his perspective, you know?" So I was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Well, I mean, shoot." And then can you imagine if Romo was there with some of the number one defenses Cleveland's had? If he didn't retire? Like if that transcended, like that'd be wild. But yeah, like
Yeah,
so
that'd be
Miles
that'd
Garrett
be
has been wanting to be a
crazy.
Cowboy forever. So I mean, like, man, go make it happen, Jerry. Like, if you're gonna say you and Steven are saying, like, hey, man, we finally need to try to do things in free agency and the trade market, like, why not Garrett?
I think you guys can make it work. I'm looking right now at the contracts that the Cowboys have, and it seems like, of course, Dak Prescott is the highest paid Cowboy, followed by CeeDee Lamb and then Micah Parsons.
Uh,
But other than that, you have Terrence Steele, you have Diggs, Zach Martin. You said is not going to be there. Maybe Demarcus Lawrence is also probably not going to be there. So you have the ability to trade for him and then still pay him what he wants for the next 3 years. And then at
right.
that time, you can, he would probably want to retire by then and
Reevaluate.
focus. Yeah, I think he could make it work for sure. And that,
Right. And
Miles Garrett deserves to go to a team like the Cowboys or just a playoff team, like a perennial playoff team, because he's been in
right.
the league for how many years now? Like close to like nine, no?
9, 10, yeah. Around there, 9.
So, so that's a lot of years of not competing in the playoffs. I mean, you did it last year, but other than that, when was how often did he go to the playoffs and compete for
And
a
and
championship?
and Danny, like how much do we always say, like, when you bring in someone that's die hard what the team that they want to play. Like, look how Michael Parsons plays, and he's a dog, or he calls himself the Lion, but he wanted to be a Cowboy, and look how his effort is every snap, every time. Same thing with other people, right? Like Eli Manning, for instance, he didn't want to go to the Chargers. He's like, all right, man, and then he was Mr. Iron Man for New York. I mean, I think he broke Brett Favre's record for the most consecutive games started. So, like you know what I mean? Like, there's, if you pick up people that want to play for you exactly, that says a lot. Like, that's why the Eagles went to go get Kenny Pickett, just in case Hurts got injured or whatever, because he's like, hey, well, this guy's across the street in Pittsburgh, and he was a diehard Eagles fan. Why not just go get him? And, like, it makes them happy, makes them work harder, makes them push.
Yeah, it made sense and it worked out for them too because Pickett came in and played pretty well.
Right? Yeah, he didn't play bad against the Commanders that game that they lost. He didn't play bad.
Yeah, they didn't lose because of him. But
Woo, man! Anything
this
else?
this
Any
is a
any other news?
this is the Cowboys episode, right? This is
Apparently,
like
hey, you asking the questions on them. I'm just
right.
giving my overall about, and people probably hate me, especially because I'm going for Philadelphia. But I think it benefits Dallas tremendously if Philadelphia wins the Super Bowl. Even the division for sure. So, Danny, I don't know if we talked about this. I'm going to bring up two things. Of course, one's going to be about the Cowboys, but the other one is about the division as a whole. So, Dallas in the NFC East, the Eagles, the Giants, the Cowboys, and the Commanders, aka Redskins, they have the most Super Bowls by division over any division in the NFL. Because of the Chiefs' reign and dominating now, the AFC
Mm-hmm.
West is now catching up to the NFC East, and I don't want that shit to happen. Like, I want the dominant division to stay the dominant division. So that's why I'm going for Philadelphia. Sorry, Cowboys fans, I know you're going to probably be pissed, but it's the concept of us being the best overall, and I want that.
How
Two,
close are they to the East?
I haven't brought this up because I keep forgetting, but they're like, if the Chiefs win, I think they'll be either 2 or 3 behind.
Okay.
If the Eagles win, then I think the AFC West will be 4 behind again. It's like 14-10 or something. Like, they're catching up because of the Chiefs' dominance. So I'm like, I don't want that. And then two, I have to mention this because this is one of the most honorable. I can't wait to see Madden 2026 and Brandon Aubrey is going to probably be the first kicker in Madden to be like 99. So, Danny, this season, because of Brandon Aubrey's all his 50 yarders and 40 plus yarders consistently for Mike McCarthy because our offense couldn't score touchdowns, he's the first kicker in NFL history to kick over a mile. Like, that is nuts. Like, think about that. Like, that is the most bizarre stat. Like, he
Where'd you
keeps
come up with
breaking
these stats?
records, but the fact that he kicked, bro, I just read them and I'm like, what? So, like I just, it's just, so he breaks these records, like the consistency and all that. I get that part, but you kicked over a mile. Like, how the hell is that possible? But apparently it happened.
Dang. Well,
Sheesh.
I believe it
Isn't
because
that nuts?
this dude was kicking long ass field goals this year and consistently too. So I believe it makes sense
And
to me.
honestly, Danny, I wouldn't be surprised in year 3 that he breaks the record, and the record is going to be like almost untouchable. Like he's going to get like a 72-yard field goal to win the game or something.
Speaking of kickers, did you hear about Justin Tucker hanging out with Deshaun Watson at the massage parlors?
Well, so I read something that was like real bad, and I was kind of like, wait, what? So like, it said something about like Justin Tucker out here pretending not to be Diddy, and I was like, what? What are you? What are they talking about? So him and Deshaun were at the massage parlors.
No, I don't know if they were together, but he's doing shit that Deshaun Watson was doing,
Oh,
like being shitty to the masseuse and
see,
be just
my
being.
thing is, Danny, uh, like if you go to an Asian spa, trust me, they are trying to survive and live because they're not getting all the money. Like they're gonna try. But the fact is, like when you're a celebrity, and if they find out who you are, that's the problem. Because it's probably most of the time I'm sure it's consensual, but at the same time, oh, here's a star. Let me try to bite more off of the apple than I need to, because I'm pretty sure he tipped. If it's true, I'm pretty sure he tipped them pretty good. But then someone else, like a reporter or whatever, they're like, you know what? Like let's go spice this thing up. And what happened? And they're like, oh, then it's like becomes a story. But like people know what goes on. You know what I mean? Like this is why people try to get them shut down, or like wives get all pissed because
You know what though?
like they know what's happening.
I
It
hear you. I hear that it's true. You put yourself at a risk, and especially if you're a celebrity, right? But at the same time, there's a way to do it. And six people
right.
came out saying that he was inappropriate and sexual behaviors and things of that nature. But I mean, why don't you just get massages at home? Have somebody come to you where everybody at your house, right, can be your witness. If that's true, right? If you're the one that's being kind of put in a tough position where you're being accused of something, why even put yourself in that position and just bring them to your house? Look at Kirk Cousins. I don't know if you saw
What
the
I
quarterbacks show on Netflix. He actually had the people come to his house to give him a massage. That's what you got to do, I
what I
guess.
don't like, Danny. What I don't like, Danny, is that like Deshaun's was an intense, drawn out massacre. Justin Tucker, we'll see how long this goes. I'm going to throw this out there too. So he's a white guy. So I'm going to see how long this lasts. Deshaun's not a white guy. So I'm going to see that part. But two, what happened to Robert Kraft's thing? Like, I mean, it was like, guess what Robert Kraft did at the mall? And then everybody's like, ah! And then the very next day they were like, oh, Robert Kraft. I mean, I didn't see him there. I mean, I was next to him, but nothing ever happened. You know what I mean? Like, it depends how much money and what you own.
Your status.
Deshaun Watson does not own. Yeah, exactly. Deshaun Watson does not own an NFL organization, and he's not white. Justin Tucker is white, so I want to see how much trouble he gets and scrutiny he gets into. Because I'm like, fair is fair. If Deshaun got massacred through the media and women and everybody, then the other two should also.
Yeah, I agree with you there. It should be fair, no matter the color of skin or whoever, right? If you're participating
Right.
in
Wrong is
inappropriate
wrong, or
behavior,
okay is okay.
exactly, exactly. But I would like to see him,
Sheesh.
suspended for a whole year, just like Deshaun Watson, and I would like to see, you know, not just the media, but everyone, the way that they're kind of hanging out Deshaun Watson out to dry, right? I would expect the same for Justin Tucker, even though he's probably had a more successful career than Deshaun Watson to this point. I think he deserves that same level of treatment if he's in wrongdoing.
You know,
So yeah, what were you gonna say?
all right, so what he's done and whatever allegations are true, bad on him. But I was also gonna like say like maybe this is why he missed several kicks this year.
Yeah, his mind
He's
wasn't
a little
there.
tired.
He was worn
He's
out.
a little tired. Yeah, worn out. The third wheel ain't trucking.
Right.
But
You talked to him too hard.
yeah, he like I just want to see. Yeah, they but I just want to see if he gets in trouble or not. Because if not, then I'm like, well, it didn't matter at that point because of he was not or that he's white.
Yeah, we'll find out soon enough. I think this is probably gonna blow up soon because it came out this week or late last week. I can't recall, but yeah, it's not looking good for him.
I'm like, dude, if you want to retire, just retire. Like you don't, you don't have to like go
At
to
this
the
point, might
extreme
as
to
well.
get in trouble so you can get kicked out. But
Right.
yeah. All right, Danny. So Super Bowl, we finally. So we start. It seemed like a blur. It seemed like last week we just started this podcast, and now we're like, I don't even, like we're probably like in the 30 something episodes, and then we
39.
are definitely trucking here, and we are at 39. Yeah. See, Jesus. So we're at the Super Bowl weekend. Danny, I'm going to give you the honor. I've been talking a lot because we're talking about the damn Cowboys. Who wins and why?
Oh, we're
And
going
who's
straight
your
to predictions.
MVP?
We're going straight to predictions.
Yeah.
Oh, honestly, like I told you, I think you and I have shared our disgust with the possibility of the Chiefs going
Danny? Danny, where'd you go? All right, folks. It seems like we might have lost Danny. I don't know what happened. I think mine's still on. Well, he's talking about the possibility of the Chiefs not or three-peating, and we kind of don't want that. But I think he was going to lean towards the Chiefs because that's why he brought it up to begin with. But we're hopefully going to get him back soon. And well, my let's talk about my thing. Like I already mentioned earlier, like I want the NFC East to stay dominant. So I want the Eagles to win, and I think they are going to win. Saquon Barkley wasn't there 2 years ago when it was Command or Chiefs versus the Eagles the first time. I think Barkley is going to be the X factor of why and how they win. But someone that I think could have a big game also if he decides to show up, and the way that the scheming is going to be is Dallas Goddard, the tight end of the Philadelphia Eagles. Spagnola, the defensive coordinator of the Kansas City Chiefs. Lost internet. Keep the show going. I'm restarting. All right. So I think, of course, Spagnola is going to try to take away Barkley. If Barkley gets around 80 to 90 to possibly 100 yards, then they will definitely have success. And oh, look how cute and handsome Danny Ramirez is back. Whoop whoop. All
way
right,
to
we
keep
got
the
stuff
show
going
going.
on. All right, Danny. Well, I kept. Woo! I got this. So all right. So I'm gonna like rewind a little bit, and then I'll tell you what I was telling the folks at home. But you go ahead and
Okay.
continue what you're saying. We're dreading. You and I are dreading the three peat. So, but go from there.
Yeah, it's been just so frustrating to watch the Chiefs, get the calls and get the victories that they needed to get to the Super Bowl. And it's crazy because I don't know if you've watched some of the press conferences at the Super Bowl. I was gonna say Senior Bowl, at the Super Bowl, but there's this guy going around talking to Kelsey and talking to Mahomes and just asking him questions like a reporter would. And he's like, "Hey, how does it feel to get that 15-yard roughing the penalty call, that phantom 15-yard penalty call?" And then of course Mahomes is like, it's good, man. It's good. So are you gonna be sending the referees a Christmas card? And then he'd be like, I don't know. I'll think about it. So Mahomes kind of went along with it.
I love that guy.
Kelsey, yeah, he's good. He's down to earth, man. So that's you gotta respect that. And then with Kelsey, they tried the same thing. They pretty much asked him like, "Hey, who do you love more? Do you love Taylor Swift or do you love those phantom 15-yard roughing the passer penalties? And then he didn't answer. He didn't think it was funny. He just kind of went on to next question type of thing. So I think the majority of America or the world, I would say, is
I
probably
had Travis.
is is probably wanting for the Chiefs to lose, right? Because they're tired of winning. But you got to still respect the the way that they continue to win, their consistency. Yes, the referees do bail them out from time to time, but it's still hard, man. It's still hard to um, win games in the playoffs, and they're cool, calm, and collected, and you got to respect that from them. And when Mahomes, like you look at his success since he became a starter in 2018, I believe, or 2019 it was. I think it was, right? 2019? Yeah, I think it's when he came on as a starter, 2019. He went to an AFC championship, lost to Tom Brady. Then he went to how many consecutive, like 5 consecutive AFC championship games? Like that dude is just a winner,
Seven.
man.
Seven.
7? Yeah, ridiculous. Like you just have to. We're witnessing greatness at the quarterback position. And it's crazy because we just got done seeing kind of Brady run the league for 20 plus years, and now we're seeing Mahomes having to do the same.
Right.
But with long story short, right? Basically, what I'm saying is the Eagles. I do want them to win, but at the same time, I don't care. I don't care who wins. I just want to see a good game, one that is not decided by the refs, and one that goes, kind of like last year where it went to the wire and went to overtime. I want to see that type of matchup. But with the predictions, I'm gonna say the Chiefs do it. They three-peat. They're the first team in history to three-peat. I trust them more with the game on the line than I do Hurts or Saquon Barkley. I think that Steve Spagnuolo is going to have his defense ready to play and ready to stop Saquon Barkley, so that way they have to force Hurts to make a lot of plays and be the one to win that game for the team. But yeah, I'm going to go with the Chiefs on this one. What about you, Jay?
All right, so yes, you put on a good point, the media thing, and there's people that are just going on about like they are really like even the Buffalo game, Danny. Like, how does that goal line like if Dez Bryant didn't catch the damn ball, then how the hell is Ford catching the ball when the ball's on the ground and he's getting tackled like that? When I saw that replay, I was like, this is why people get so pissed at the NFL and say it's rigged because I'm like it was not a catch. Like, how does a ball hit the ground and then all of a sudden it's a catch? Like, that makes no sense. So then, hopefully, the Kansas City refs stay at home, like you said, and it's a fair game. That being said, I think so. The X factor is Saquon Barkley, right? Like, if Spagnola is able to like get him under 50 yards, 60, like then obviously the Kansas City has a great chance to winning this game. I think if he has 80 or above, then I think he's done enough to help the Eagles win. Now, the one person that I think that I want to see rise up to the occasion and not be punked by the opposing position player, Travis Kelsey is going to be sought out the whole time. Like, he's the tight end. He's the guy in Kansas City that is Mahomes' security blanket. The defense, he's probably going to get his touches. But the one guy, Danny, that should step up and pretty much will help his team to victory is the tight end up in Philadelphia, Dallas Goddard. Dallas Goddard. Spagnola is going to try to take away Barkley. His secondary always plays physical regardless whoever they're trying to take away from the ball. So your defense plays physical. You're going to try to take the running game away. So who's going to be your security blanket if you're Jalen Hurts up the middle? That would be your tight end, Dallas Goddard. So if this guy steps up, let's say he has maybe 6 catches, 7 catches, that's going to be just enough to secure the time differential to keep away the ball from the Kansas City offense. And then I think that's what helps prevail the Philadelphia Eagles to win. And if he does show up, like I'm challenging him, he could be the first tight end and probably almost ever as Super Bowl MVP. Not 87 in Kansas City, but I think his number is 86. But Goddard from the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, he's not 86 because that was hurt. What's it, Ertz
Ertz,
back in the day.
Ertz, yeah.
Yeah, I want to say that he's 80. What is he? 88? I may be wrong. But now you got me thinking if a tight end has ever won Super Bowl MVP. I don't think so. I will tell you in just a second. Um, no, there's never been a tight end to win the Super Bowl MVP. So hey, that's a bold prediction. I like it. I like it. And I think it's so easy to pick Saquon. It's so easy to pick AJ
He's
Brown, right?
a Kelsey.
Yep.
So I think that he's the main vocal of like if we need a big player, if we need something to help us. Barkley has been MVP all year. Brown and Devontae have been coming up clutch. Like you're the guy that we're gonna have to ride on into the sunset. Even if he catches like 6 catches or whatever, it'll help them move the chains. He might even score a touchdown. But like I think it benefits them if he outplays Kelsey.
And those are really good keys to victory, especially if you want to keep Mahomes on the sideline, right? You don't want him to have those
Right.
opportunities to dissect your defense. So I like it. I like that approach. We just haven't seen it yet, right? If we seen it, we would have seen a tight end win a
Right.
Super Bowl MVP in the past. But that's a good one. I like it.
All right, Danny. So what's the final score for you?
Um, I'm gonna say it's 27 to 21. Make it a 6 point game. Chiefs.
All right, I dig it. I say it ends 23-16.
23-16. There's some field goals in there, huh?
I think that I think the defenses are really gonna try to outperform the offenses in this thing because everyone always expects the Barkleys and the Kelseys, the Hurts, the Mahomes, like everyone's expecting flash, but these two defenses are in the championship game for a reason. Like they're in the Super Bowl, like they have played lights out all year. And like you said earlier, Philly's defense has got better through each week. So you add that together, and I think that's going to help them come up clutch.
Not only that, Jay, but you also have Vic Fangio, great defensive mind, going up against Steve Spagnuolo, who's another great
Right.
defensive mind. So it's going to be a chess match between them
Mm-hmm.
two.
Right. And what's crazy is like I just hope that Nick Sirianni doesn't turn into tense Nick Sirianni when things are a little tense and it's like 4th and 6 and then like we have like 7 minutes into the game like left in the game and like momentum swing and then he goes for it. I'm gonna be like, dude, no, just take what the
Yeah.
defense gives you, kick the field goal or just like play smart because that's what's gonna lose Philly. If Nick Sirianni does that a few like twice and it's 50-50, like he succeeds once and fails once, I think that'll be the determining factor of why they lose.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think we've seen this year a lot of instances of, you know,
Ugh.
fourth downs, failed fourth downs, or whatever that may be the deciding factor in the outcomes of games. Like, right, there's been teams where they've been trying to be cute, where they go for two, or they try to go for it on fourth down, and it ends up biting them later, where they're having to get a 2 point conversion to tie it when they could
Right.
have either been tied or been up. And I hope Sirianni
Right.
for the fact of winning a Super Bowl. I hope he does not make that mistake because he's known, to your point, he is known to be that aggressive, and you can't afford to be that
Right.
aggressive in the last game of the season to win the championship.
Yep. Yeah. So I'm like, man, we'll see what happens, man. But we'll figure it
Who's
out.
who scores
Woo! Or
first?
hopefully he'll figure it out.
That's a prop bet that I'm trying to I'm contemplating.
Um, Bucker.
Bucker, I like it. So the Chiefs score first.
Right.
Who's the home team here?
Yeah,
Is
I
it
think I
Eagles, right? Because they're wearing the green jerseys.
I don't know who was the one seed in AFC.
Uh,
Wasn't the it
that
wasn't the Chiefs the one seed?
yeah, I believe it was the Chiefs. But I think
So I
it
think they would be
goes.
home because they
I think it goes each year. It alternates, doesn't it, between AFC and NFC as a home team? I want to say that's the case. I could be wrong.
yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, either way, I just yeah maybe Bucker. I'd say Bucker scores first.
I like it. All right,
So man,
I'm gonna.
it's so crazy that we're already at the Super Bowl, man.
I know it flew by, man. The season was crazy. Um, it was really surreal too, because it seems like we got. Although it was like a real down season for both of our teams, we got what we wanted, right? We got, at least I got a new head coach, right? The coach that we wanted. You don't have Mike McCarthy no more. Um, you're switching it up a little bit, so hopefully it's going to be beneficial for both of our teams, and hopefully that would be good to see both of our teams
Right.
in the playoffs next season, where we can have some excitement.
I hope so. I pray. But we got a whole off season to see what they do too, which is crazy. Like, uh, just
It's
like when we
crazy, man.
started this thing.
Football season's going to end this coming Sunday, but then 2 weeks later you're gonna have combine, and then you're gonna get ready for free agency, and then the draft starts in April. I mean, like, it's gonna fly by again, and before you know it, we'll be gearing up for like OTAs and training camp, and then again the season will start right back up. So it's gonna fly by for sure, just like this season.
It's crazy, Danny, that we're speaking of flying by. We're 1 year away from our 20-year reunion.
Oh my God, you had to make me feel old, didn't you?
Bro, like how? Like that is so crazy. That is so wild.
It's
That's
ridiculous
nuts.
how fast time flew by.
Dude, I don't like it. Doesn't even seem surreal that it went like we're already like 20 years away from like we left Andrus. Like that is like the craziest thing.
Yeah, crazy.
It's wild.
So what do you got going
All
on
right,
this
Danny.
Super Bowl Sunday? Who are you? Who are you gonna watch the Super Bowl with? Your dad, or you going to a party? What are you doing?
My coworkers.
Oh, nice. We're at Applebee's.
Yeah, I'm working. So, yeah, I'm working.
Oh, boo! Yeah, that
But
sucks.
it's gonna be it's gonna be slow and we'll probably just be watching the game really. But what time's the game start anyway?
4:30
4:30 your time?
our time. I'm on your time right now.
So 4:30 our time? I thought it was like 2:30 or like something earlier.
Nah, it's 4:30.
What? Dang, it's gonna be that long? Yeah, it's gonna be like midnight by the time it's over with all the damn commercials and halftime
It'll
show and all that.
yeah, it'll be like close to 10 p.m. by the time it's over. Do they at least feed you guys
Damn,
there
that's
at Applebee's?
wild.
If it's slow, can you guys eat their food or nah?
Dude, yeah, like this is like the first job where they really don't care what the hell you do unless you just gotta do your crap, right? So yeah, they like serve like people were eating one time when I first started there, like on their shift and stuff, and I was kind of like, what? We can do this? So yeah, like we'll just be chilling and watching the game and eating food. But
Nice. At,
yeah, hopefully that'd
at
be kind
least
of cool
it'll.
if we could do like a food swap.
Yeah, you should. What's nearby you guys?
Right. Well, Peter Piper's by us, and like they're owned by the same people now in El Paso. So
Oh wow,
like
I
it'd
didn't know
be
that.
kind of easy, just like yo, let's food swap. Yeah, so like let's food swap with them, and then like have pizza and stuff. That'd be kind of
Yeah,
cool.
there you go. Set it up, man. Be the ringleader here. Make it a vibe.
Right? Yeah, I'm down. Yeah, yeah. But what are you guys doing?
I'm not sure yet. We're either gonna watch it here at home or we'll get together with some of my cousins here in Phoenix, but we haven't decided yet. But it should be good.
Nice, man. Yes, sir. I can't, man. It's crazy that it's already the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Hey Jay, I had to upgrade my internet because I don't know
Who's
if it's
all right?
my
Let's
internet.
since we're talking about
I was gonna say real quick, I have to upgrade my internet
you did.
because yeah, because I'm getting a lot of lagging, and I don't know if it's my end or your end, but I even noticed it with work. Sometimes I would lag and it would kick me off like it did right now a little earlier. And so hopefully that might clear up some of the lag issues that we're experiencing lately. Hopefully, crossing fingers.
Okay. All right.
What were you
Well,
going to say though?
if it's a little off still, then I'll start using my you start using my cord. I was gonna say since it's almost over, Danny, the number one expected free agent you would like to have in Chicago.
I want to shore up the offensive line, so I'm going to say Trey Smith from Kansas City, the right guard. He's probably going to be the most sought
Nice.
after offensive lineman, but he will shore up that right side for sure. And then after that, I mean, we can get other free agents to kind of plug in there at center or wherever. But yeah, he would be the guy that I would probably pay most of my money to. How about you?
Nice. Well, obviously we talked about Cooper Cup, so but barring no trade, if it's free agency, then I would love to see T Higgins. Like I've been saying his name for
Hmm.
what a year. Put him
Yeah,
next to Lamb, like it'd be basically him and Chase all over again. So and it'll help Dak for sure. So that I would love some T Higgins for sure.
yeah, that'd be a good one. I wonder how much it's gonna cost to sign him away from Cincinnati because it seems like in the last couple of weeks there's been a lot of comments made by Jamar Chase wanting to keep him around, right? To keep the group together, him, the trio. Um, and I don't know if that's gonna be like Jamar Chase taking a little bit
Right,
of a pay cut so they can pay T Higgins, or is it gonna be to a point where they can't afford all three of them and they let one of them go? Which in this case it would probably be T Higgins.
right. And it's pretty wild. Oh, here's a fun fact, Danny, and it sucks for because I'm a Cowboys fan too. But I was gonna bring this up. I'm glad it just popped in my head. So people say nowadays, right? Like the running back position is not that much as valued as it used to be. It's not that great, right? Like we can
Yeah,
live without him. Cincinnati released their number one running back. The Dallas Cowboys released their number one running back. The Giants released their number one running back. The Tennessee Titans released their number one running back.
the
Um,
Raiders.
Las Vegas Raiders. Key teams that were have been in kind of the mix for a few years all got rid of their prime running backs. Did any of them sniff the playoffs this year?
Other than Saquon, or you're talking about the teams, like
No, but
their former teams?
the teams that were that let them go. Yes, did any of them sniff the playoffs?
No, none of them did. So,
Exactly.
are you trying to say that there's value now in the
Exactly.
running back position?
There always has been value. It's just that they have to work with your scheme, and you have to give them faith and have faith that they are as value. Look at the Giants; they let him just walk. Then he basically became the MVP of the league.
Yeah, pretty much. Let's take a look at that. All right, so Las Vegas Raiders, Josh Jacobs goes to the Packers, has a really good year. Derrick Henry leaves Tennessee, goes to Baltimore, has an outstanding year. Saquon leaves the Giants, goes to the Eagles, has a legendary season. And then who else am I forgetting? You mentioned a couple others.
Joe Mixon, Cincinnati, goes to Houston,
He
another
had a
team
solid
that
year.
made the playoffs, and he's solid year.
Yeah.
The value is there. It's just that people need to stop saying that they're not there. Because look at when Isaac Pacheco went down for Kansas City, they lost a few games and they were less physical.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But you know what?
So I'm like,
They were
the running
smart
back
too. The
value is
Chiefs.
there. They
Yeah, the value is there for sure. I agree with you there. But with the Chiefs, in their case, they were smart because once they started going through all those injuries, like with Pacheco, they let go of Clyde's Edwards-Helaire, and then they ended up picking their former draft pick, Kareem Hunt. And Kareem Hunt was the guy that, made it kind of elevated that offense, right? So, yeah, to your point, running backs do matter, but you have to scheme it in a way where it's going to elevate your offense, right? Not just be
you
one
mentioned another
dimensional.
good name, Danny. You mentioned another good name, Danny. The Cleveland Browns last year that were a playoff team. Who did they have? Kareem Hunt. They let him
Yep.
go, and look what happened.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even think about him with the Browns. I think, to your point, Jay, I
Dang.
think that was a conversation that came up. I forgot where, might have been like NFL Live or something like that. But they started bringing up that point where now maybe there's a shift in how GMs view that running back position and be maybe more likely to invest in that running back position if they hit a home run like Saquon Barkley, or if they have like a Zeke Elliott, right? When he came into the league, he took the league by storm and he was very successful. In those situations, I
Right, a
think it makes
draft.
sense for now.
Right.
Yeah, to keep those teams, those players around those teams that they draft. And I think that sucks because the Giants were probably the biggest loser of them all, because not only did they lose Saquon Barkley, they lost that production. Their offense fell apart. Their quarterback got shipped out or released to Minnesota, I think it was. And then now
Right.
he's
The
with the
guy that
division
you
rival.
like got rid of.
Yeah, and now he's with a
Oh my
division
god.
rival in the Super Bowl, and it just sucks. Like, it's a
So
bad look.
you released you released the running back and bet on the guy that's not even on the team anymore.
Yeah, pretty much, pretty much.
Gosh, that is atrocious.
And now, what are they
That's
gonna
nuts.
do? Are they gonna draft a quarterback with their pick? Because they have the third pick, I think, this year. Are they gonna draft a quarterback? Because all the mock drafts that I'm watching has the Giants taking like Travis Hunter. I've seen Travis Hunter, which makes no sense. They have Malik Neighbors. I have them. I've seen some where they
Yeah.
draft
They have Malik Neighbors.
Abdul Carter. Like, they need to draft a
What?
quarterback, or yeah, it's crazy. They need to. I don't know what they're gonna do, but it's gonna be.
So
This is gonna make or break their success. with that
So
regime.
are they assuming that they're gonna go get someone like Sam Darnold or Kirk Cousins or something?
Maybe that's why they have him drafting other positions. That's a mistake too,
That
though.
would be that would be the only way you don't draft a quarterback. Right. Like that's the only way you draft a quarterback if you go out and get a quarterback. Because like I think the Giants already told Shooter that they're gonna go after him.
No, that makes sense. That'd be good.
Because he
I could
even
see
said
him.
on an interview at the Senior Bowl,
What did he say?
he said that he's like, because of course the Senior Bowl this year was in Cowboy Stadium, so he was like, "Yeah, man, it's fun to play in here. I like the stadium." He was like, "I'm pretty sure I'm going to be playing here a lot going in the future, playing against them."
Oh wow. So he knows. He knows something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Unless the Tennessee Titans pull something and then they draft him,
Oh,
and then they
yeah.
just
They're a
ship
big
Will
question
Levis
mark
because
too.
that's a possibility too.
Yeah, yeah. You don't know what they're gonna do.
Yeah, what do you do with that first pick? Because your team was just non-existent. So are you going to get the best overall player in Travis Hunter, or do you go get a quarterback?
Yeah, I don't know what the I don't. I wouldn't want to be in their shoes because I don't know what the right answer is. I don't know if they go with the quarterback. They
This
stick with
year,
Levis.
the way their team is, and this year in the draft, there's probably not going to be a lot of right answers. Because even if you do draft the quarterback, he may not fit what you want.
Yep. Yeah, this is where, and I've talked to you about organizational dysfunction, and I feel like this is a type of move that causes that, right? Because you look at the Titans, they hired Brian Callahan, I think, as their head coach last year. They decided to go with Will Levis, right? Because Will Levis was barely going to his second year. He showed flashes his rookie year, so it made sense to give him a shot.
Right.
Now, after all the crappy play that we saw from Will Levis this year, do you really trust him going forward? And if you do, are you ready to ride your
No, I
career
wouldn't.
on that decision? I wouldn't either. I wouldn't either. So
I don't trust
I would hate
anyone
to be
with
in his shoes.
mayonnaise. And, you know,
And coffee. I hear you
but
there.
yeah, man, it's
Yeah.
crazy. It's but man, Danny, this is crazy. So yeah, we'll wait for all this massive talk, and we'll get into the nitpickets as soon as the Super Bowl is over because there's going to be a lot of stuff going on, and who gets released and who gets traded and all this stuff. The release scene is going to be what in a week or two. Like people are going to be released and like free agent and all that
Mhm.
crap. So
Like in a couple weeks.
yeah, so we'll see. It's always awesome, sir. Like I can't believe we made an hour and 15 minutes out of like a Super Bowl show. So we did pretty
I
good.
know. Yeah. Great job.
So well, Danny, it's always a pleasure, sir. We finally made it to the Super Bowl, even though we're rooting against both teams because we don't like either or. But unfortunately, one of them has to win, and unfortunately, we have to watch. So that's how the cookie crumbles, and that's how the world is. Anything else for the fans out there that are watching?
No, just like, subscribe to our channel, follow our content. Here in the next season, right? And now that we're going to the off season, I want to do something more different in terms of our content. I know that you and I both talk about our teams a lot, so maybe having a separate show where we talk about specifically Cowboys talk, and then doing another show where we talk about Bears talk. I think that would be pretty cool. And then keeping this show very simple, right?
Well, we
Straightforward. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
we could technically do the Cowboys and Bears like in one show.
Yeah, just having different segments for it. Exactly.
Right. And then I want to do more interviews because those are fun, and then we get to know people and all that jazz.
Yeah. Now that we the problem is finding right other fans to schedule the time to meet with us. So now it's just planning ahead. Right now that we know
Right.
how it's coordinated and working, we can just look to schedule some fans and put a schedule together and make it more consistent.
Absolutely. That'd be fun. We, we had 2 interviews this year, right? We'll try to triple that. So in the
Oh, we'll
near
do more than
future.
that for sure.
Yeah. Well, Danny Ramirez, it's been a pleasure. This season is about to come to a wrap. Season 1 is about to end. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for the like, sharing, and following. Hopefully, we grow this and get more people involved. On behalf of me, JD Shelly, I want to thank you all so much for season 1. Danny?
Yeah, thank you. Just second that comment. It's been fun. It's been a learning experience for all of us, right? Getting to do the show and learning how it all works
Absolutely.
together. A lot of technical difficulties, hey, but we'll figure it out and we'll make it a much more better experience for all of you who tune in.
I bought a tripod and for like phone and stuff filming, and then I got some mics and stuff for the phone. So I'm going to start trying that and see how that goes too, and try to mix it up. And so
Yeah, and once I move back to El Paso, it'll be better. We'll be in person now. We can probably record in person. So
we could do face to face stuff. That'd be fun.
yeah, that's what we need to be doing. So thank you all for
Yep.
bearing with
All right.
us through this whole ups and downs, but we'll get it together and we'll provide some more valuable content for you all to take in. Sorry about my screaming child.
Absolutely. Thank you all so much. Please like, share, follow the Sun City Leatherheads podcast, episode 1. Puka's mad. Season 1 is over, and we're out.
We're all mad. Later, guys.